This is a behind closed-door audio. Hard men in a soft world. Masculinity, power, and the inheritance of survival. Stop. Right now. Listen to me. Your strength is not the problem. Your discipline is not the flaw. Your desire to protect, to provide, to endure, these are not your failures. The world has changed. The rulebook has been burned, and you have been left holding the pieces of a broken code, trying to survive in a game that rewards a different kind of power. This is not another lecture about what's wrong with you. This is the definitive map. From the inherited survival that shackles you, to the authored legacy that awaits you. For the next hours, you will not hear platitudes. You will receive a blueprint. This is the journey from reactive strength to authored power. This is for the man ready to rebuild. Let's begin. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 1. Your moral code is outdated. Here's why. This is not an attack on your father. This is not a dismissal of your grandfather's sweat. What you carry inside you, that deep, unshakable sense of duty, that compulsion to provide, to protect, to be the rock that is not a flaw, it is an inheritance. It is a moral operating system, the most reliable code ever written for communal survival. But here is the truth you must hear, and hear clearly. Your moral code is outdated. It is not wrong. It is obsolete. It is brilliant hardware, running software from a different century. And right now, in your life, it is crashing. You feel the glitches every day, the frustration when your hard work doesn't translate to respect, the confusion when being strong pushes people away, the exhaustion of carrying a weight that no one around you seems to recognize. To understand why, you must first respect what it was, the original operating system. Picture it, not as a theory, as flesh and bone. The man standing at the edge of the village, eyes scanning the tree line. His worth is not a feeling, it is an action. It is protection. His body is the barrier between threat and home. That's the code. The man in the field at dawn, hands in the soil. His worth is not a conversation. It is a yield. It is a provision. The food he brings back is love made tangible. That's the code. The post-war builder. The immigrant laborer. The man working 3 shifts. His identity is not a list of passions. It is a verb. Build, endure, provide. His sweat is the mortar of his family's future. His silence is the space where their security grows. This was the framework, a duty-based identity, a moral compass pointing only to one true north, communal survival. Your worth was measured in tangible, life-sustaining action, not in your emotional vocabulary, not in your narrative, in your output, in your reliability, in your silent, unquestionable presence. That code is your hardware. It is the deep wiring in your nervous system. When you feel that surge of responsibility, that's the hardware booting up. When you instinctively hide uncertainty, that's the hardware running a diagnostic. Show weakness, risk the tribe. When you equate rest with laziness, that's the hardware flashing a warning light. If you are not producing, you are not protecting. This hardware is not evil. It was brilliant. It kept families alive. It built civilizations from mud and will. It is the reason you are here, reading this. It is the legacy in your bones. Honor it. And then, you must see its fatal flaw. The system had one directive, and one directive only. Survive. It was not designed for you to thrive. It was not coded for psychological complexity. It has no subroutine for meaning. It has no protocol for emotional intimacy. It was built for a world of clear physical threats. Predators in the night. Famine in the winter. An enemy you could see across a field. That world is gone. The threats are not in the tree line anymore. They are in the mind. They are in the bank account. They are in the silent treatment from your partner. They are in the cultural narrative that calls your innate drive toxic. They are in the algorithm that sells you insecurity. This is narrative warfare. This is psychological complexity. This is a game of influence, nuance, and emotional capital. And your hardware is trying to run this new software. It's trying to fight anxiety with a heavier lift. It's trying to solve a relational disconnect by working longer hours. It's trying to answer a question of meaning with another possession. It is crashing, and you feel the system failures. You feel it as rage when your provision is met with a request for conversation. The hardware says, "I brought the food. The task is complete. Why is there a problem?" It cannot compute the need for emotional calories. You feel it as confusion when your stoicism is called distance. The hardware says, "I am steady. I am containing chaos. This is strength." It cannot compute the need for shared vulnerability. You feel it as profound exhaustion because the hardware is running a perpetual emergency protocol in a world that is not, in that old sense, an emergency. It is draining the battery of your soul, waiting for a physical fight that never comes. That's the key. You are not failing. The code is. You are speaking the language of duty in a world now conducting business in the currency of connection. You are offering tangible action to solve intangible problems. It's like trying to use a hammer to repair a Wi-Fi signal. You have a choice. You can keep forcing the old code. You can double down on the hardware, work harder, shut down more, build thicker walls, and you will become increasingly powerful and increasingly isolated. A monument to a forgotten world. Or you can do the most strategic, powerful thing a man can do. You can initiate a system upgrade. This is not about deleting the old code. It's about expanding it. It's about integrating new modules. A protocol for emotional intelligence. A subroutine for narrative control. A firewall against psychological warfare. It starts with a simple audit, a conscious observation. For 1 week, I want you to watch your own hardware in action. When you feel that surge to solve, to fix, to provide pause, ask, what is the real need here? Is this a hardware-appropriate threat, or is this a software problem? When your partner speaks of a feeling, and your instinct is to offer a solution, stop. That's the hardware. See it. Then, run the new protocol. Listen. Validate. Ask. Don't fix it. Connect. When you feel shame for resting, for not being in productive action, recognize it. That's the survival alarm. Thank you for your vigilance. Then tell it. The tribe is safe. I am recharging the system for a different kind of battle. You don't need their permission to upgrade. The world has already changed. Your choice is to adapt or to obsolesce. Your father's moral code was a masterpiece for its time, a sacred relic. But you do not honor a relic by trying to fight a modern war with it. You preserve it in the museum of your respect, and you arm yourself with the tools for today's battlefield. The hardware of survival must now serve the software of sovereignty. That is the journey. From a man programmed by the past to a man who programs his future. You've seen the flaw in the code. Now, understand the shock that revealed it. The world didn't just change, it betrayed the old rules. Next, Chapter 2. The rulebook was burned. Stop looking for it. Chapter 2. The rulebook was burned. Stop looking for it. Stop. Stop looking for the rulebook. It is gone. The contract your father signed with the world, the one that said work hard, keep quiet, provide, and you will earn your place. That contract has been nullified. The terms have changed. The rules you inherited, the clear, linear path to respect, it has been erased. The rulebook was burned, and your disorientation, your rage, that feeling of playing a game where the goals keep moving, that is not a sign of your failure. It is proof of the arson. You are not lost because you are weak. You are disoriented because the landmarks have been deliberately removed. Let's map the fire. Let's name the 3 shocks that burn the old world down. Shock 1. Economic instability. The old rule, your body and time are a direct trade for security. 1 day's work equals 1 day's bread. A lifetime of labor equals a house, a pension, a legacy. That rule is ash. Your body and time are now commodities in a global market that gets cheaper by the day. You can work 3 jobs and still not afford the life your father built on one. The linear path is now a maze. The trade is rigged. Your tangible labor no longer guarantees tangible security. The foundation of the old code, provisioned through pure effort, has collapsed. Shock 2. The educated partner. The old rule, you are the sole navigator. She is the supportive passenger. You provide direction, she provides support. That rule is Ash. She is now a co-navigator. Often, she's a better navigator. She doesn't need your provision for survival. She needs your partnership for the journey. She doesn't want a boss. She wants an ally. She is not looking for a wall to hide behind. She is looking for a man to stand beside. Your traditional role as the solitary decider is now seen as control, not leadership. This isn't an attack. It's an upgrade you weren't trained for. Shock 3. The imported narrative. The old rule, your cultural script of strength, stoicism, and silent endurance is the universal ideal of manhood. That rule is not just Ash. It is held up as the cause of the fire. A global media machine, 1,000 think pieces, a wave of imported psychology now labels your native script, the code that built your family, as toxic. The very instincts that meant protection are now framed as predation. The endurance that meant reliability is now framed as emotional illiteracy. Your moral operating system is being diagnosed as a virus. This is the world you stand in, the soft world. And understand this, the soft world is not weak. It is powerful. It operates on a different kind of energy. Its power is psychological. It trades in narrative, in social capital, in emotional leverage, in viral ideas. It wins not by overpowering muscles, but by reprogramming minds. Your old tools, the ones in your inherited hardware, are blunt instruments in this new world. Silent endurance? In the soft world, that's not respected. It's exploited. They will load more onto your silent back. Physical dominance? It's obsolete. Real dominance now is controlling the narrative, the algorithm, the conversation. Rigid control? It's a fragility. The soft world rewards adaptability, nuance, the ability to pivot, not just to hold the line. This is why you feel rage. This is the source of the confusion. You have been speaking the language of duty, a language of actions and objects in a world that now only listens to the language of influence, a language of feelings and perceptions. You are offering a handshake in a room that's trading in subtweets. That's the key. You are not failing. You are speaking a dying language in a new country. Staring at the ashes of the old rulebook is not a strategy. Mourning it is not a plan. Demanding the world return to its old rules is the path to bitterness, to irrelevance. You have a choice. You can be the man at the ruins, sifting through pages, trying to tape them back together, shouting at the world that it's wrong. Or you can accept the raw, liberating truth. There are no more rules, only games, and you must learn the game being played. The game is no longer survival of the physically fittest. The game is architecture of meaningful power. Your new task is not to find the rulebook. It is to write your own. From a position of strength, not victimhood. Start here, today, with this one shift. Stop asking, what is the right thing to do? That's the old hardware searching for the missing manual. Start asking, what is the strategic thing to build? That's the new software. That's the architect's mind. When faced with a challenge at work, don't just think, how do I endure this? Think, what skill or relationship can I build from this that makes me more valuable? When faced with tension in your relationship, don't just think, how do I fix this? Think, what deeper understanding can we build from this that makes the partnership stronger? When you see the world shifting, don't think, this is wrong. Think, what opportunity does this change create that I can build upon? You don't need their permission to write new rules. The old guardians are gone. The field is clear. The soft world rewards a different strength. It rewards the man who understands narrative, the man who can shape the story of himself, his work, his purpose. It rewards emotional intelligence, not as therapy, but as tactical intelligence. The ability to read a room, to inspire loyalty, to navigate conflict. It rewards creation over complaint. Stop looking for the rulebook. Stop trying to reassemble the ashes. The past is not a guide. It is a lesson. Take the fire that burned the old world as the heat to forge your new tools. Your freedom begins the moment you stop looking for permission and start writing your own code. Pause. Sound of wind through empty space. The shock has been felt. The old world is gone. Now, understand the dangerous, brilliant adaptation you made to survive it. You built a prison from your own armor. Next, Chapter 3. Your armor is now your prison. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 3. Your armor is now your prison. Listen closely. That hardness you carry, that emotional shield, that relentless silent grind, it's not your failure. It's not a flaw. It was your father's masterpiece, your grandfather's lifeline. It is a suit of armor, forged in the fires of necessity, hammered out on the anvil of trauma, tempered in the cold water of a world that offered no second chances. That armor is the reason you're here. It got you through. It is a brilliant, brutal, and necessary adaptation. But I am here to deliver the raw, unfiltered truth you can feel in your bones. That armor is now your prison. The very thing that saved you is now suffocating you. The survival skill has become the life sentence, and you walk through your days, a monument to resilience, wondering why you feel so utterly confined within your own skin. Let's deconstruct it. Let's take apart this hard man piece by piece and see the genius in its design. The emotional suppression. It wasn't stupidity, it was a strategy. In chaos, feeling too much is a fatal liability. In trauma, vulnerability is a target. So you learn to shut it down. You mastered the blank face, the steady hands, the voice that doesn't crack. You installed an emotional firewall. That was pure genius. In that environment, the transactional stoicism, the "I can handle it, just give me the problem" posture. It wasn't arrogance. It was the only option. When there is no cavalry coming, you become the fort. You stopped asking for help because historically, help didn't come. You equated needing with weakness. Love was shown through action, not words through fixing the roof, not discussing feelings. That wasn't a lack of heart. It was the economics of endurance. In a scarce world, everything is a transaction. Even care must be practical. That was the operating system. This was the code, the brilliant adaptation, and you inherited it. You downloaded it perfectly. You wear it every day. But here is the turning point. The critical shift you must make. Adaptations become pathologies when the environment changes. The jungle your father's armor was built for is gone. You are not in a jungle of clear physical threats. You are in a complex society of psychological and relational nuance. The threats are not lions and invaders. They are silent treatments. They are missed connections. They are a creeping sense of irrelevance. They are a void of meaning where purpose should be. And against these threats, your armor is useless. Worse than useless. It is the weapon turned inward. What if the emotional distance that kept your father focused on putting food on the table now isolates you from the woman who shares your bed? You provide, but you cannot connect. The survival skill has become the life sentence. What if the stoic, "I can handle it," that allowed your grandfather to endure back-breaking labor now prevents you from asking for the mentorship, the partnership, the support that would catapult your growth? You endure, but you do not grow. The survival skill has become the life sentence. What if the transactional mindset that secured your family's basic needs now leaves every relationship feeling hollow, like a business deal where your heart is the commodity being traded? You have associates, but you have no brothers. You have a wife, but you have no witness to your soul. The survival skill has become the life sentence. Do you see it? You are not failing at being a man. You are succeeding perfectly at a game that no longer exists. And the prize for your perfect performance is confinement, isolation, a silent, desperate loneliness that echoes inside that magnificent, polished suit of armor. Let's tally the real bill, the cost of the mask, the silent marriage, the woman who respects you but cannot reach you, who receives your provision but starves for your presence. You are a great provider and a ghost in your own home. That's the cost. The children who know your actions but not your heart. They see you work. They see you discipline. But do they know your doubts, your dreams, your story? Or are you just a function in their lives, the lawmaker, the wallet? You are teaching them to build the same armor. You are passing on the prison sentence. That's the cost, the internal void. The moments of quiet when the performance stops, and there is just a hollow man. a set of routines and reactions. Where is you, the man beneath the duty? He's buried under 6 feet of brilliant, ancient, and utterly obsolete survival strategy. That's the cost. You have a choice, right now. You can keep polishing the armor. You can keep wearing it, tighter and tighter, wondering why you can't breathe. Or you can begin the careful, deliberate, fearless work of taking it off. It's not about becoming weak, it's about becoming strategic. It's not about throwing away discipline, it's about redirecting it. The discipline it took to suppress every feeling. Channel that now into the courage to identify one feeling. Just one. Name it. This is frustration. This is grief. This is pride. The discipline it took to stand alone. Channel that now into the strength to request a true ally. To say, I need your perspective on this. The discipline it took to be the unshakable rock. Channel that now into the capacity to be the grounded river strong in your flow. Adaptable. Able to nourish without needing to be immovable. You don't need their permission to change the code. The world that built this armor is gone. You are the author now, the architect of your own emotional freedom. Start with the audit. A simple, brutal audit. Where is this armor manifesting? Is it in your clipped conversations that end when the problem is solved? Is it in your inability to sit in quiet without seeking a distraction, another task, another problem to fix? Is it in the way you equate love with solving problems for people, instead of listening to the person inside the problem? That's the key. See the armor. Name it. This is not me. This is the adaptation. This is the survival skill that has become my life sentence. The prison door is not locked from the outside. It is held shut by one thing, the belief that the armor is still necessary, that taking it off is surrender. It is not surrender, it is a promotion. You are graduating from soldier to sovereign, from fortress to foundation, from a man who survives to a man who builds. You mastered survival. Now it's time to master living. The first step is realizing the walls you built to keep danger out are now the walls keeping you in. Your armor was brilliant. Honor it. And then, piece by piece, with conscious gratitude for its service, begin to take it off. Your freedom is on the other side of that fear. This prison you carry isn't just personal. It's historical. Its blueprint is etched in your blood. To be truly free, you must trace its origin. Next, Chapter 4. The colonial curse runs in your blood. Chapter 4. The colonial curse runs in your blood. We need to go deeper. We've seen the armor. We've felt the prison. But to understand the lock, you must trace the hands that forged it. This isn't just psychology. It's history. It's an inheritance. The confusion you feel, the rage, the desperate need to be useful, the deep-seated terror of being perceived as soft, these aren't your personal failures. They are not character flaws. They are echoes. They are the unprocessed pain of your bloodline. A legacy passed down not through stories but through survival reflexes. A trauma encoded in your very posture, in your definition of worth. You are not just carrying your father's armor. You are carrying the colonial curse. And it runs, silent and potent, in your blood. Understand the curse. It was a systematic, brutal process with one objective: commodification. It sought to turn the man from a holistic being, a storyteller, a father, a spiritual anchor, a community leader, into a single, efficient unit: labor. Your body was no longer your temple. It was a tool. Your strength was no longer for your family's protection or your community's upliftment. It was for extraction, for production. Your worth was stripped of all its cultural soft power, your art, your rituals, your nuanced leadership, and reduced to a single brutal metric: output. Can you lift it? Can you endure it? Can you produce it? This is the historical wound. This is the dispossession. You weren't just dispossessed of land, you were dispossessed of a multi-dimensional identity. The colonizer didn't just take your resources, he took your narrative. He said, your story of who you are as a man is irrelevant. Only your back, your hands, your stamina matter. That is the curse. And your grandfather inherited it. And your father adapted to it. And you downloaded the operating system that survived it. This is why you feel what you feel. The fear of softness is not a personal choice. It is a historical imperative. In that system, softness, empathy, reflection, art, emotional expression was not just inefficient, it was dangerous. It was a luxury that could get you killed, or worse, make you useless. Uselessness meant disposability. So your ancestors had to amputate those parts of themselves to survive. They had to become pure function. That hypervigilant focus on utility, that's the curse. That internal voice that says your value is only what you can produce, that's the curse. That discomfort with stillness, with unproductive conversation, with anything that doesn't look like labor, that's the curse whispering, if you are not working, you are worthless. It's not about being broke or aggressive. It's about an inherited trauma of disposability. You are the descendant of men who had to make their bodies and their endurance their only currency. And you are living in a world that now demands a different currency: emotional capital, intellectual capital, narrative capital. The curse is the disconnect. It's trying to pay a modern debt with colonial coins. Look at the evidence in your life. The way you tie your masculinity directly to your job title, your salary, your ability to fix things. That's the commodified body. The suspicion you feel towards soft skills like communication, empathy, or strategic vulnerability, that's the historical memory that says those things get you replaced. The exhaustion that comes not just from work, but from the performance of being the unbreakable tool. That's the soul rebelling against its own reduction. You have a choice. You can continue to live the curse. You can let this unexamined history use you as its vessel. You can let the fear of your ancestors dictate your modern life. Or you can do the most sovereign, powerful thing a man can do. You can break the curse in your bloodstream. This is not about blame. It's about sovereignty. It's about saying, the trauma stops here. The reduction ends with me. This is alchemy, turning the lead of inherited pain into the gold of authored power. Here is your first ritual, your first act of historical rebellion. Conduct a utility audit. For 1 week, I want you to watch every moment you equate your worth with your utility. When you feel shame for taking a day of rest, pause. That's the curse. Say aloud, my worth is inherent, not instrumental. I am not a tool. I am renewing the source. When you feel yourself dismissing a soft skill, like active listening, or apologizing with emotional precision, stop. That's the curse. Say, this is not weakness. This is the new power. Influence is the currency of the free man. When you define yourself by your job, I am a manager, a driver, a lawyer. Interrupt it. Say, I am a man who currently practices law. I am a man who leads a team. My being is not my doing. You don't need their permission to reclaim your wholeness. The system that imposed this curse depends on you not questioning it. This is deep work. This is where you stop being a historical artifact and become a living author. You are not just healing yourself. You are healing your lineage. You are creating a new inheritance for your children. You will not pass down the trauma of the commodified body. You will pass down the blueprint of the integrated man. The colonial curse sought to make you a thing, a unit of labor. Your task is to reclaim your humanity, your complexity, your right to be both strong and gentle, disciplined and joyful, a provider and a poet. The curse runs in your blood, but you are not your blood. You are the consciousness that observes it. You are the will that redirects it. Break the curse, not with rage, but with conscious, deliberate daily recreation. Pause. The heartbeat sound strengthens, becomes clearer, more sovereign. You've named the curse. Now, confront its most cunning trap, the distrust of the very power that will free you. Next, Chapter 5. Stop fearing the power of calm. Chapter 5. Stop fearing the power of calm. I need you to understand your greatest enemy. It is not a competition. It is not the system. It is not the critic. It is your own terror of calm. Your deep cellular distrust of the power that doesn't roar but resonates. That doesn't force but aligns. That doesn't demand but attracts. You have been trained by history, by trauma, by a world of extraction, to equate power with visible force, with dominance. with the clenched fist, the raised voice, the overwhelming presence. So when you are faced with a situation that requires patience, you feel weak. When you are faced with a conflict that requires listening, you feel like you're losing. When you are faced with an emotion that requires vulnerability, you feel dangerously exposed. This is the final leash of the old code, the last whisper of the colonial curse. Stop fearing the power of calm. Calm is not passive. Calm is not surrender. Calm is the most potent form of control. It is command over your own internal state, which is the prerequisite for commanding any external situation. The world you live in, the soft world, does not yield to bluster. It yields to frequency, to a certain grounded, unshakable vibration. People don't follow the loudest voice in the room. They are pulled towards the most certain presence in the room. Your fear of calm is a trauma response. Period. Unhealed trauma lives in the nervous system. It screams for immediate, visible resolution. It says, dominate the room, end the tension, create a conclusive outcome now. But here is the truth that will set you free. Strategic patience is not passivity. It is an intelligent gathering. When you listen instead of interrupt, you are not submitting. You are collecting intelligence. You are mapping the other person's emotional landscape. You are learning how to win the war, not just the shouting match. When you sit in silence, instead of filling the space with threats, you are not being weak. You are letting the weight of the unresolved situation press on them. You are letting their own anxiety work for you. That's the key. When you respond with measured words instead of reactive fury, you are not being controlled. You are demonstrating that you cannot be controlled by external chaos. You become a rock in their storm. You have a choice. You can keep obeying the trauma reflex, the one that demands you prove your strength through visible, immediate dominance, the one that makes you a predictable, reactive pawn in every conflict. Or you can choose the power of the general, not the soldier, the power of the surgeon, not the brawler. This is not about being broke or aggressive. It's about discipline, understanding, and tactical intelligence. Let's reframe it completely. Vulnerability is not exposure. It is precision, targeting. Sharing a calibrated doubt is not admitting weakness. It's testing trust. It's inviting alliance. It's disarming the other person's defenses with a gesture of humanity. It is a strategic move of immense strength. Empathy is not agreement. It is reconnaissance. Understanding why someone feels what they feel does not mean you submit to their viewpoint. It means you now possess the data to navigate them, to persuade them, or to decisively disengage from them. You cannot defeat an enemy you do not understand. Calm is not waiting. It is the active cultivation of leverage. Every second you hold your center while others lose theirs, your power grows. Your influence expands. You become the eye of the storm, and everyone instinctively moves toward the center for safety. You don't need their permission to wield this new power. In fact, the old world desperately needs you to keep fearing it. It needs you to be reactive and blunt. Your training starts now. With one practice, one new reflex to install. The pause. The next time you feel the surge, the heat in the chest, the clench in the jaw, the trauma reflex screaming dominate, you will not obey it. You will pause. You will take one breath, a deep, deliberate breath that grounds you in your body. In that pause, you will ask the strategic question, what do I want to build here? Do you want to build a bigger enemy? Then lash out. Do you want to build your own reputation as an unstable element? Then explode. Or do you want to build respect? Build a solution. Build an advantage. That pause is the space where the old man dies and the integrated man is born. In that silence, you reclaim your sovereignty from your trauma. Stop confusing volume for authority. Stop mistaking aggression for strength. Stop fearing the deep, still water because you were trained to thrash in the shallows. The power of calm commands the boardroom because it inspires confidence. It wins the negotiation because it projects unshakable certainty. It leads the family because it provides psychological safety. Your ancestors survived through immediate physical force, a necessary, brilliant adaptation. You will thrive through deliberate, calibrated influence. The next necessary evolution. The soft world's greatest power is the power to shape reality through perception, narrative, and emotional gravity. Your calm is the foundation of that power. It is the launch pad for your influence. Stop fearing it. Start forging it, breath by breath, pause by pause. Your new strength is quiet, and that is why it will be undeniable. You've disarmed the fear. Now, seize the ultimate tool, the pen that writes your own life. Next, Chapter 6. You are not a character. You are the author. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 6. You are not a character. You are the author. Up until this moment, you have been living a story written by ghosts. Ghosts of trauma. Ghosts of history. Ghosts of expectation. You have been handed a script, a dense, worn manuscript titled How to Be a Man, and you have been reading your lines, hitting your marks, playing the part assigned to you, the provider, the stoic, the rock, the hard man, in a world that moved on. But I am here to tell you the most liberating truth you will ever hear. You are not a character. You are the author. The pen is in your hand. It has always been in your hand. You were just taught to trace the letters of a dead language. Identity is not fate. It is not a fixed set of traits you inherited. Identity is a story, a narrative. And every story can be edited, revised, rewritten, or burned to ash to make way for a new one. Your entire life, you have been trying to perform a character, to live up to a role, to prove you fit the mold. It's time to break the mold. It's time to write the damn book yourself. The old story is the inherited narrative. It's the shoulds that echo in your head. A man should never cry. A man should be the sole provider. A man should know everything. A man should want this, look like that, act this way. That story was written for a different world, by authors, your ancestors, your culture, your trauma, who were doing their best with the terrifying page they were on. But their chapter is over. Your page is blank, and you have a choice. You can keep reciting the old lines, feeling more and more like an imposter in your own life, or you can take the pen and with a steady hand write, Chapter 1, My Sovereignty. This is the key insight, the master key that unlocks the prison. Stop living out the plot. Start writing the theme. The plot is the external events, the job, the arguments, the struggles. You've been letting the plot dictate your character's reactions. This happened, so I must get angry. She said that, so I must shut down. That's character behavior. The author chooses the theme. The theme is the deeper meaning, the core principle. My theme is integrity. My theme is growth. My theme is legacy. When you write from the theme, you no longer react to the plot. You use the plot as material to illustrate your theme. A character is buffeted by the storm. The author writes the storm into the story to show the character's resilience. Do you see the shift? It's total. It's complete power. Your first act as author is the narrative audit. Get a notebook. Right now, I'm waiting. At the top of the page, write the inherited script. Now, list every single rule you've been carrying, every should, every belief about what a man is, does, and feels. A man doesn't ask for help. A man's value is his utility. A man suppresses his fear. Write them all. See them on the page. Look at them. These are not truths. They are sentences. They are just text. And you have the power to edit text. Draw a line through the ones that are holding you back. Write the new line beside it. A man doesn't ask for help becomes a wise man builds a council. A man's value is his utility becomes my value is my essence. My utility is one expression of it. A man suppresses his fear becomes a courageous man acknowledges his fear, then decides his action. You don't need their permission to edit the script. The old authors are gone. The copyright belongs to you. Now, write your new theme in one sentence. What is the core principle of the man you are authoring? Is it calm command? Is it architect of legacy? Is it integrated sovereignty? Write it down. This is your compass. Every decision, every reaction, every goal is now filtered through this question. Does this align with my theme? This is not about inventing a fake person. This is conscious authorship. It's not, who should I be? It's who do I choose to become, based on the legacy I want to leave. The character is reactive. The author is intentional. The character seeks approval. The author defines his own standards. The character fears the plot twists. The author uses them to deepen the theme. Start small. Today, you get criticized at work. The old character's line is defensiveness, rage, or silent resentment. You, the author, pause. You consult your theme. If your theme is calm command, you write the new response. You listen. You nod. You say, I'll take that into consideration and get back to you. You have just rewritten the scene. You feel overwhelmed. The old character's line is, suffer in silence. You, the author, write the new line. You say to your partner, I'm carrying a lot right now. I need an hour to decompress. Then I'd love to connect. You have just authored intimacy instead of isolation. This is the practice, moment by moment, choice by choice. You are no longer a prisoner of the past narrative. You are the active author of the present moment. Your life is not something happening to you. It is a manuscript you are writing through you. Stop auditioning for a part in a broken play. Stop trying to prove you're a good character. Take the pen. Claim your authority. Write sentences of power. Write paragraphs of purpose. Write chapters of legacy. The story of the hard man is complete. It had its purpose. It got you here. Now, begin the story of the integrated author, the one who builds worlds with his words, his choices, his calm, and his deliberate hand. The blank page is not your enemy. It is your kingdom. Now go rule it. Pause. The sound of the pen scribbling a final, definitive period. Then, the solid thud of a book closing. You've taken the pen. Now, what will you write first? The most urgent edit. Your relationship with provision itself. Next, Chapter 7. Stop extracting. Start building. Chapter 7. Stop extracting. Start building. Let's talk about the weight you carry. The crushing, relentless pressure of the provider. That word, that identity, it feels like a mountain on your back. Every bill, every expectation, every look of need from your family, it's another stone added to the load. You've been taught that this weight is the proof of your love, that your suffering under it is the measure of your manhood. I am here to tell you that is a lie. A brutal, outdated, soul-killing lie. You are not failing at providing. You are succeeding perfectly at extraction. And you are the resource being mined to depletion. Stop extracting. Start building. The old model is the extractor's mindset. You trade your most finite resources, your time, your body, your mental peace, for a finite currency, cash. It is a direct, brutal trade. 1 hour of life for X dollars. 1 unit of energy for Y reward. You are the laborer in the quarry of your own life, hacking away pieces of yourself to sell. The system calls this a good job. It is not a good job. It is a slow exchange of your essence for survival. That's why you're exhausted. That's why you feel used up. That's the burnout. You are the commodity, and commodities get consumed. The extractor's trap is this. The more you succeed, the more you are spent. A promotion just means a bigger quota on your soul. A raise just puts a higher price on your time. You are running a race where the finish line moves every time you get close. This is the provider's dilemma. The crushing burden is not provision itself, it's the method. You have a choice. You can keep selling hours, days, years of your one precious life. Or you can shift to the architect's mindset. The architect does not extract, he builds. He does not trade his hours. He invests his intelligence into creating structures that generate value independent of his hourly labor. Look at your finances through this lens, right now. The extractor looks at his bank account and sees wages earned. The architect looks at his balance sheet and sees assets built and liabilities managed. It's not about being broke or aggressive. It's about discipline, understanding, and the shift from consumer to creator. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket while you sleep. a skill that allows you to consult, a piece of intellectual property, a small business system, an investment that compounds, a course you created, a rental property. A liability is something that takes money out. The car note, that's half your salary. The lifestyle that demands you work 80 hours to sustain it. The subscriptions, the debts, the constant drain on your extracted cash. The extractor focuses on the number on the pay stub. The architect focuses on the structure of his economy. Your new, non-negotiable task. You must become the architect of your own financial liberation. This starts with a brutal audit, not of your effort, but of your economic identity. For 1 month, track every single dollar. Not to shame yourself, but to diagnose. Label each outflow, asset or liability. Is this expense building my future freedom, or is it leasing my present comfort? Listen to your language. Do you say, I make X a year? That's extractor language. Start saying, I am building streams that generate X. That's architect language. Your job is not your source of income. Your job is fuel for your asset building phase. It is the cash flow you use to buy your freedom, brick by brick. You don't need their permission to build your own economy. The corporate system needs you to believe you are only an employee, a consumer, an extractor of your own labor. True provision is not about sustaining survival. It is about creating freedom. You think providing the groceries, the roof, the tuition, that is the baseline. That is extraction paying the bills. Legacy provision is the asset column. It's the trust fund you design. It's the business your children can inherit. It's the financial literacy you teach them so they never have to start from zero. It's the capital that gives them the time and security to find their purpose, not just their paycheck. You are not just providing for their stomachs. You are providing for their launch. This is the ultimate reframe. You stop seeing yourself as the family's engine, burning fuel until it seizes. You start seeing yourself as the family's architect, drawing the blueprint for a self-sustaining estate. The action is simple, profound, and daily. Divert 10%. Before you pay any bill, before you buy any liability, you pay your future self. You take 10% of every single dollar that enters your life and you direct it to your asset building fund. Not for a goal, for your architect's war chest. This money is for building, not consuming, for learning a high-income skill, for a course on investing, for the first seed capital for your own enterprise. This 10% is not a savings account. It is your declaration of independence. It is the first brick in a structure that does not require your body to be present to stand. Stop extracting. You are worth more than your hourly rate. Your family deserves more than your depletion. Start building. You are the architect of generational security. Lay the foundation today. Pour the concrete of discipline. Raise the walls of intelligent assets. The extractor dies tired, having traded all he was for what he needed. The architect leaves a skyline. You've redesigned your economy. Now, redesign the instrument you use to build it. Your physical self. Next. Chapter 8. Your body is a temple, not a tool. Chapter 8. Your body is a temple, not a tool. You have a complicated relationship with your body. You either ignore it until it breaks, or you punish it to prove a point. You see it as a machine, a tool, a biological instrument for one purpose: work. You push it to endure long hours. You feed it cheap fuel to keep it running. You ignore its signals of fatigue, of pain, of stress. You celebrate its ability to take punishment. You measure its worth in pounds lifted, miles run, tasks endured. This is the final frontier of the extractor's mindset. You have been extracting from your own flesh, treating your physical form as a piece of equipment leased from your soul to be used up and discarded. That ends today. Your body is a temple, not a tool. A tool is utilitarian. It is valued for its output, its efficiency, and its wear. It is a means to an end. When it breaks, you replace it or fix it with the cheapest parts possible. A temple is sacred. It is a dwelling place for something holy, your consciousness, your spirit, your sovereign will. You maintain it with reverence. You protect it with ritual. You strengthen it not for output, but for clarity, for presence, for power. The colonial curse taught you to see your body as a unit of labor. The extractor's economy taught you to see it as a vehicle for production. We are here to perform a reconsecration. This is not about vanity. It's not about being broke or aggressive in the gym. It's about discipline, understanding, and reclaiming your sovereign ground. Your body is the physical substrate of your entire life. It is the interface between your mind and the world. A foggy, inflamed, exhausted body produces a foggy, inflamed, exhausted mind. It is incapable of the calm command, the strategic patience, the authorial focus we've been building. You cannot build a legacy with a broken-down tool. You can only maintain survival. You can only architect from a temple of strength. This is the embodied shift. Look at your current practices. Your fitness. Are you training like a laborer, grinding mindlessly, pushing for punishment, treating exercise as just another form of work? That's the tool mentality. You are just wearing down the equipment. Or are you training like a sovereign, with intention, with focus on how the movement makes your mind feel clear, energized, calm? Are you building a body that serves your mind's purpose? The new metric is not the burn, it's the clarity afterward. Your physical ritual is no longer about endurance. It is about mastery. Mastery of breath, mastery of posture, mastery of recovery. Start with the foundation, the temple's pillars. Pillar 1. Breath is the cornerstone. Before you lift a weight, master this. 5 minutes a day. Sit. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. This is not meditation. This is nervous system remodeling. This is installing the baseline calm that makes every other form of strength possible. This is the power of calm, made physical. Pillar 2. Movement is ritual, not labor. Change your language. You are not working out. You are performing your movement ritual. Choose movements that build resilient, useful strength, not just showy muscles. Focus on mobility, on stability, on the feeling of power flowing through a connected, agile body. Ask, does this movement make me feel more capable in the world, or just more tired? Pillar 3. Fuel is consecration, not consumption. You are not eating. You are fueling the temple. Every meal is a decision. Am I putting cheap, inflammatory fuel into my sacred vessel, or am I providing high-grade, clean energy for my mind and muscles? You don't need a complicated diet. You need a principle. Mostly plants. Enough protein. Minimize poison. Sugar. Processed junk. Excess alcohol. This isn't cheating. It's sacrilege. It's pouring mud into your temple's well. Pillar 4. Recovery is the holy ground. This is where the architect is separated from the laborer. The laborer collapses. The architect actively recovers. Sleep is not lost time. It is a non-negotiable sacred time when your body repairs, your brain cleanses, and your mind consolidates the day's learning. Protect your sleep like you protect your family. It is the foundation of your sanity and your strategy. You don't need their permission to reclaim your temple. The extractor system needs you tired, foggy, and reliant on cheap stimulants and distractions. When you make this shift, everything changes. Your posture communicates calm command, not defensive tension. Your energy is steady and renewable, not spiky and adrenalized. Your mind is sharp because your body is clear. You handle stress not because you're tougher, but because your temple's foundation, your nervous system, is unshakable. This is integration. The mind and body no longer at war. The body is no longer a tool you use. It is the temple from which you operate. Your first act of reconsecration starts tomorrow morning. Before you check your phone, before you dive into the world, you will take 5 minutes. You will stand. You will breathe the 4-4-6 breath. You will then perform 3 minutes of intentional movement, not to exhaust, but to awaken. Cat-cow stretches, a few deep squats, focusing on the feeling of blood flow, of space in the joints. You will then drink a large glass of water. This is your new morning ritual. This is how you claim the day from a place of sovereignty, not reactivity. Your body is the ground truth of your life. Stop treating it like rented machinery. Start honoring it as the sacred ground upon which you will build your legacy. The tool gets used up. The temple stands for generations. Pause. The singing bowl tone returns, cleaner and stronger than before. You have reconsecrated your temple. Now, it's time to inhabit it fully, to synthesize every lesson into a single, undeniable presence. Next, Chapter 9. Forge the calm that commands the room. Thank you for subscribing. Chapter 9. Forge the calm that commands the room. This is the synthesis. This is where it all comes together. The moral core, the authored narrative, the architectural mind, the consecrated temple. This is not about becoming a new man. This is about integrating the man you have always been with the power you have always possessed. The goal is not to be the loudest in the room. The goal is to be the most certain. To forge the kind of calm that, when you enter a space, doesn't demand attention, it commands respect. It shifts the gravity in the room. People don't just listen to you, they lean in. They settle. Because in your presence, the chaos of the world meets something it cannot penetrate. Absolute, unshakable composure. This is not an act. This is not a technique. This is the calm that commands the room. It is the physical manifestation of your entire journey. It is the hardware upgrade, complete. The new operating system, online. Let's define this calm, so you know what you are forging. First, it is leadership through grounded influence, not through dominance. You do not need to shout. Your certainty is your volume. You do not need to threaten. Your boundaries are your fortifications. People follow you because your direction feels like clarity, not control. Second, it is authority rooted in deep accountability. You are accountable first to your own code, your own theme, your own temple. Because you hold yourself to a ruthless standard, you have no need to posture or pretend. Your word is law because your word is first a law to yourself. That's the key. Third, it is power that builds rather than dominates. Your strength is no longer for breaking. It is for building coalitions, solutions, legacies. You are not the storm. You are the eye of the storm. And in your calm, others find the safety to create, to contribute, to grow. This calm is your ultimate strategic advantage in the soft world. Bluster is cheap. Hysteria is noise. But calm, true, grounded, silent calm, is the rarest currency there is. It is the currency of kings, of generals, of master negotiators, of fathers who shape generations without raising their voice. So how do you forge it? It is a daily practice, a relentless commitment to integration. Practice 1. The pre-game reset. Before you enter any arena, a meeting, a difficult conversation, your own front door, you pause. You take 3 of the 4-4-6 breaths. You feel your feet on the ground. You recall your authorial theme. You are not entering as a reactive character. You are entering as the conscious author of the next scene. This 6-0-second ritual is the difference between being hijacked by the environment and shaping it. Practice 2. The strategic pause. When challenged, when provoked, when pressured, you do not respond. You install the pause. You let the silence hang. In that silence, you are not being passive. You are doing 3 things. 1. Allowing their emotional charge to dissipate into the void you provide. 2. Demonstrating that you cannot be triggered. 3. Give your architect mind time to choose the optimal response, not the reactive one. The power is always in the pause. Practice 3. The language of the sovereign. You purge weak language from your mouth. No, I think maybe. No, sorry, but. You speak in clear declarative sentences. This is my view. This is the boundary. This is the next step. You pair this with listening with full attention. You look people in the eye. You absorb what they say. Your response, when it comes, shows you heard them and are now leading forward. This combination, deep listening followed by clear declaration, is irresistible authority. You don't need their permission to command this calm. In fact, the chaotic world is terrified of it. It reveals their instability. This calm is the proof of your inner work. It is the evidence. If your body is a jangled, exhausted tool, you cannot fake this calm. If your mind is a reactive script of inherited trauma, you cannot sustain this calm. If your economy is a desperate extraction, you cannot afford this calm. But when your body is a rested temple, when your mind is an authored narrative, when your economy is an architectural plan, this calm is the natural byproduct. It is the smoke from the fire of your integration. You are no longer proving, you are being. Your presence becomes your argument. Your calm becomes your credential. This is the integrated man. Not a theory, a living reality. He is not nice. He is clear. He is not aggressive. He is decisive. He is not emotional. He is emotionally intelligent. He uses emotion as data, not as a driver. He forges the calm that commands the room because he has first commanded the chaos within himself. Start your forge today. In your next interaction, practice the pause, just once. Before you speak, stop, breathe, connect to your theme, then speak from there. That's the key. It's not about being perfect. It's about being conscious. One conscious, calm response at a time rewires your identity. You are moving from survival reflexes to sovereign rituals. From a man who has to react, to a man who chooses his response. From a character in someone else's drama, to the author of your own epic. The calm that commands the room is your masterpiece. Forge it breath by breath, choice by choice. You have forged your presence. Now, turn that power outward. To what end? To build something that lasts long after you're gone. Next, the final chapter. Chapter 10. Become the architect of your bloodline. Chapter 10. Become the architect of your bloodline. This is the point of it all. Everything we have done, the deconstruction, the audit, the reconsecration, the forging, it leads here, to this single monumental shift. You are no longer a survivor. You are no longer just a man navigating a soft world. You are a bridge. You are the critical link between a past of survival and a future of sovereignty. Your life is no longer about what you can carry. It is about what you can leave behind that cannot be broken. Become the architect of your bloodline. This is the ultimate resolution, the final upgrade to your moral operating system. You shift from self-improvement to lineage creation. The survivor asks, how do I get through this? The architect asks, what do I build from this that will serve those who come after me? This is not about ego. It is the opposite of ego. It is about service to the future. It is about metabolizing the pain, the trauma, the confusion of your inheritance, and transforming it into a foundation so solid, so clean, that your children do not have to spend their first 40 years deciphering the same curse. Your father gave you survival tools. Necessary. Brilliant. You will give your children architectural blueprints for their minds, their emotions, their finances, their purpose. Let's define this architecture. What does the architect build? First, he builds families of clarity, not chaos. He does not build a dynasty of silent stoics. He builds a family culture where love is expressed clearly in words and actions, where boundaries are strong and respected, not arbitrary and feared, where conflict is resolved through communication, not through slammed doors or silent treatments. He models the integrated calm, so his children learn emotional regulation not as suppression, but as mastery. He authors a new family narrative out loud. In this family, we speak truth with respect. In this family, we build each other up. In this family, your worth is inherent. Second, he builds financial literacy, not just financial provision. He does not just leave an inheritance of money, which can be squandered. He builds an inheritance of knowledge and systems. He teaches his children about assets and liabilities before they get their first job. He involves them in the family's economic architecture. He shows them how money is a tool for freedom, not a scorecard for worth. He provides them capital, yes, but more importantly, he provides them with the cognitive capital to multiply it. He breaks the cycle of being a consumer and raises creators and investors. Third, he rebuilds cultural narratives of wholeness. He steps into the cultural space, be it through mentorship, through art, through business, through simple, consistent conversation, and he offers a new story. He rejects the brittle, one-dimensional caricatures of manhood. He embodies and articulates the new ideal, the integrated man, the man of calm, command, emotional intelligence, and architectural vision. He does this so that the next generation of boys have a template that doesn't require them to break themselves to fit. He gives them permission to be whole. This is your legacy. It is not a monument with your name on it. It is a living, adaptive system that you instill. You have a choice. You can be the end of the line, the final recipient of the trauma, who takes it to his grave. Or you can be the transition point, the alchemist, the one who turns the lead of inherited survival into the gold of authored legacy. Your work now is practical, daily, and profound. Ritual 1. The Family Council. Once a week, gather for 20 minutes. No phones. Discuss wins, challenges, plans. Let everyone speak. You, as the architect, practice your calm command here. You guide. You listen. You make it safe. This ritual builds relational architecture. Ritual 2. The Transparency Principle. Demystify your success and your failures. Talk to your children about your investments, your career pivots, your mistakes. Not to burden them, but to educate them. Show them the blueprint of your life so they can learn to draft their own. Ritual 3. The Blessing of the Soft. Actively encourage in your sons and daughters the traits the old world called soft. In your son, empathy, artistry, thoughtful calm. In your daughter, strength, assertion, strategic ambition. Bless it all. You are stocking the next generation's toolkit with every tool, not just a hammer. You don't need their permission to build your legacy. The past has no veto power over the future you are creating. This is why you did the hard work. This is why you faced the curse, took off the armor, forged the calm, not just for your peace, but for their launch. Your life is no longer your own. It is the cornerstone of a future cathedral. When you operate from this, every decision is clarified. Does this action strengthen the foundation of my bloodline, or does it erode it? This question cuts through all noise, all temptation, all short-term folly. The survivor leaves scars. The architect leaves cornerstones. You are the bridge. The work is complete for you. Now, the work begins through you. Lay the stone. Pour the foundation. Raise the pillars. Become the architect of your bloodline. And build a future that honors the struggle of your past by freeing your children from the need to repeat it. Thank you for the likes. Now, let's be clear. The hard world demands your body. The soft world demanded your compliance, and you are done with both. You are not here to be used, and you are not here to be managed. You are here to build. You have the moral core. Now you have the narrative power. You have the architectural mind. You are integrating the code. The colonial curse ends in your bloodstream. The inherited pain stops with your awareness. The strength trap springs open with your choice. You are not abandoning strength. You are upgrading it. From the blunt force that dominates to the calm force that creates. From the extractor mining himself to depletion to the architect building a legacy that outlives him. Your body is no longer just a tool. It is your temple. Your mind is no longer just a reactor. It is your author. Your purpose is no longer just survival. It is architecture. This is the map. From the inheritance of survival to the authorship of legacy. The work is not easy. It is daily. It is deliberate. It is yours. So here is the challenge. Stop listening. Stop analyzing. Start building. Today. Right now. Pick one thread. Audit one narrative. Make one architectural move. Reconsecrate one temple ritual. Forge your calm. Command your room. Build your legacy. The future of your bloodline is waiting on your decision. The soft world is waiting for your new kind of strength. Show them what an integrated man can build. Before you go, like and subscribe. Now go.